Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross for The Rock Never Stops. Today I want to do a video about Donovan Mitchell going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look, I know this is, the off season and everybody gets into, a frenzy over these moves. And I mean, to be real, we've been waiting on Donovan Mitchell to get traded for like 2, 3, 4 months, right? You know what I'm saying? We knew he wanted out of there last season and we've just been waiting. All right. So I think it's almost kind of like anticlimactic for him to go to Cleveland because it's not necessarily where we all thought he was going to make this big splash. It's really left us, lingering for a little bit more, right? Not to say this isn't a good move for Cleveland. Look, all right, and Utah got back what they wanted to get back, whatever. I don't put a whole lot of stock into getting a whole bunch of draft picks because those draft picks rarely turn out to be what you think they're going to be, right? So at the end of the day, Utah still has to figure themselves out, right? And why they're rebuilding. Because to rebuild is like one of the dumbest things to do. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Build something sustainable, make the right pivots, invest in the right young guys, and maybe one of them will break through to superstardom, or at least you have a winner that a current superstar will want to go to, or at least assets that allow you to be a sustainable winner that another team will want in exchange for their superstar. Either way, you need to be winning. You need to be focused on winning, not rebuilding. So I think that's probably one of the laziest ways of running a franchise and indicative of the future of that whole franchise. Minnesota, crap franchise. If you follow my channel, you know how I feel about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Gave up all that for Rudy Gobert. For what? I don't think they're going anywhere either. All right, but let me just get back onto this trade. Donovan Mitchell going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look, there is one piece, one, that the entire outlook of this trade hinges on, and that is Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley has to become everything that we believe he is. And that is the second coming of Tim Duncan, right? The second coming of Kevin Garnett. The next elite two-way big man who can dominate on both ends. Now, for all intents and purposes, from what we've seen at USC, from what we've seen from him as a rookie, that is who he is. It's who he's been. Right? He's not somebody who necessarily wows you with his jaw-dropping athleticism, but he just always makes the right play. He's always so fundamentally sound, and he has such a high skill set at such a high level that it makes him impossible to stay in front of for most big men. For most of his opposition, he's going to be able to take advantage of whoever they stick in front of him. And when you have two elite playmaking guards around you, like a Donovan Mitchell and a Darius Garland, you should be able to get plenty of easy buckets to get yourself going all the time, right? Just like Tim Duncan was at his best when he had his Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, two playmakers who can dice up the defense, create openings for him to get dump-offs, lobs, kickouts on pick and pops, and free him up to get himself going, right? That's who these two are going to be for him. I have no doubt who those two are, right? Darius Garland, all-star. Donovan Mitchell, all-star, with superstar level ability to elevate his game when it matters the most in the playoffs, right? But what's going to differentiate them from a Portland Trailblazers, right, with Donovan Mitchell and CJ McCollum and Yusuf Nurkic in the middle, right, is if Evan Mobley elevates, right? Evan Mobley has to take those next steps within the next couple seasons, because really what this does is it puts a sense of urgency, right? Isaac Okoro, I love him. I think he's going to be a solid two-way wing. He's physical. He's athletic. He knows his role. He's bought in. It's who he is. He's improving his three-point shot. I think that's going to be there for him. He's going to be a nice floor spacer along with a elite perimeter defender, right? I think he's solid there. But Evan Mobley, can you get up to over 20 points a game next season? Can Donovan Mitchell sacrifice? Because really, I'm gonna be honest, he's the one who's going to have to sacrifice in this. Donovan, you're going to have to sacrifice. Last year in Utah, your efficiency plummeted. I know you wanted to get out of there, and sometimes when you're not motivated, you don't want to be there. Your motivation is low, and you're not as locked in. But he's never had the best efficiency. He's going to have to sacrifice taking some bad shots and kick that ball out. And I think one of the first things that's going to have to happen is they're going to have to put the ball in the hands of Darius Garland. And Donovan Mitchell's going to have to trust him in a way that he trusted Mike Conley initially, right? Darius Garland is going to have to set the table. He's going to have to get his assists around 10 to 12 a game. He's got to make sure that Donovan Mitchell eats. He's going to have to make sure that Evan Mobley eats, right? And then he's going to have to be kind of that third fiddle, kind of how I described Jalen Brunson's role, making sure that R.J. Barrett eats and Julius Randle eats first, right? That's going to be how he can master his role for them to win. But then Donovan Mitchell has got to be efficient. He's got to take good shots. He can't take these dribble 50 times, step back three-pointers a la James Harden in Houston. It's not about ability to make it. It's about, does your efficiency add or take away from the team's ability to maximize its potential to win night in and night out? Because let's be clear, last season was a down year in the NBA. The Clippers were out of it. The Lakers were out of it. Portland was out of it. The Pelicans were pretty much out of it most of the year until they got CJ McCollum. I mean, the West was just a down year. Sacramento Kings, right? Most of these teams were just out of it. But now you look at the landscape of the NBA, right? Milwaukee is hungry, knowing that they probably left a defense of their championship on the table because of the injury to Chris Middleton. So they're going to be hungry with a chip on their shoulder. You're going to have the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid trying to make a MVP run. James Harden trying to earn that bag, you know what I mean? Or, I'm sorry, did the opt-in, right? So he took less money, so he's already got the bag, but he's going to try to get that championship as what's eluded him. Tyrese Maxey is going to be a year more improved, right? So they're going to have their big three. You're going to have the Brooklyn Nets with everything to prove. Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving in a contract year. The league is going to be there. It's going to be competitive, night in and night out. Evan Mobley, you're up. You're up. This is no longer like you get to take your time. And I know it was a little tough. It was a little crowded with Lauri Markkanen, crowded in the forward position. But now you are in your position of comfort. You are in that power forward center position and you are locked in, right? You are locked in. And it's time for you to get to where they need you to be, right? Now, JB Bickerstaff, you're going to have to do the job that you pretty much did last season, which was a hell of a job, right? Integrating the pieces that you were given to maximize its potential. When they were healthy, you guys were the number one seed in the East, right? You're one of the more dominant teams in the NBA. Now it's your opportunity to show those coaching chops with the expectations of winning. There's no creeping up on people here. There's no getting away with, schemes that people haven't seen before. They've seen the big lineups, right? Kevin Love, you're going to have to stay healthy off the bench, right? And light that flame as soon as you get into the game, as you did last season. Karis LeVert, you're going to have to be healthy. You're going to have to be that consistent scorer off the bench, right? Guys are going to have to come ready to play. Ricky Rubio is back in the fold, right? This team is going to have expectations. And Evan Mobley, you're going to have to show the whole package. Now, I saw in some of the open runs, personally, I'm not a big fan of going to just open gym type styles of open runs where you could just kind of do whatever and guys aren't necessarily up into you. I much prefer going to the Rico Hines run where it's extremely intense. You have coaches around you. It's more structured. You have some refereeing a little bit. You have the focus of the environment is for development, right? And so guys just can't take plays off defensively, so they're constantly into you, right? They're structuring it so that it's far more intense, limiting the shot clock, games to 7 all ones, right? To replicate the end of games in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, right? This is where I thought you probably should have been. Right? This is where I think that you should have taken what you were trying to work on. But either way, the spotlight's on you, bro. But I want to know what everyone else thinks. Do you guys think the main player that this hinges on is Evan Mobley? Do you think Donovan Mitchell is going to have to sacrifice some of his shots and Darius Garland is going to have to focus more on his playmaking? Do you think JB Bickerstaff is going to be able to create a scheme that integrates Donovan Mitchell in a way that he won't have to carry the same type of burden he did in Utah, and he can create a higher ceiling for this team's outlook than what he had in Utah as well? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I enjoy all the love and support. Like, Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, chop it up in the chat. I'll see you there, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.